Hey guys, Cameron with CBM Reviews. It's a new year. I haven't posted anything in like 3 months, and so first off, thank you for clicking on this video and being super patient with me. Thank you to all of those people that told me, hey, we're looking forward to your new videos. I definitely appreciate your patience, and I'm gonna pay it off right now. This is gonna be the review of Catwoman Hunted. Catwoman Hunted is a new DC animated video that's coming out on February the 8th. This movie is directed by Shinsuke Terawasa and it stars Elizabeth Gillies as Catwoman, Stephanie Beatriz as Batwoman, Keith David, and Jonathan Banks. I'm going to tell you the things that I enjoyed, the things that I didn't enjoy, my overall score, and a few other things that are maybe channel related, so stay tuned. If you're a fan of this sort of thing, thank you so much. Click on that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying this. Also, hit that notification bell. You'll know as soon as I post, and hopefully it won't be another 3 months. Catwoman Hunted is in a completely different vein from your standard DC animated fare. I will say that as far as the story is concerned, Catwoman is doing her main Catwoman things, but she's not really a villain per se. She's always, trying to pilfer, trying to steal, but there's always a little angle to it. Well, she's kind of stolen something from a very important syndicate, so to speak, and now it's up to her to try to dodge the upcoming assassins from stopping her, and then Batwoman joins the fray to try to help her from getting herself killed and also take down the syndicate. And that's the story without spoiling any major plot points. And so first I'm going to tell you the good thing about it. This has a very anime style to it. Think Batman Ninja with a combination of Cowboy Bebop. And when I say that, I'm not just talking about Cowboy Bebop as far as an animation style, but there's a lot of jazz influences. There is a strongly stylized intro to Catwoman Hunted that I really dug. In fact, for the first third of this movie, I definitely felt some strong Bebop vibes, and I love Cowboy Bebop. Is an amazing anime. I'm not talking about the Netflix show. I'm talking about the anime. I love that anime, and it definitely had that feeling to it. Also, you have some very heavy hitters as far as Keith David and Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks plays Black Mask, who is one of the main antagonists of this. And then you've got Tobias Well, played by Keith David, who acts as like a right-hand man to the head of this organization. I found them both to be very good. I loved hearing Keith David back in the recording booth. I'm a huge fan of his, from Goliath in Gargoyles to Dr. Facilier in The Princess and the Frog. He has that voice that you just know right off the hand. And it's always fun to see Jonathan Banks doing something besides playing Mike Hermantraut, but he's done other things in that, like playing Commissioner Gordon in Arkham Knight. Another thing that I enjoyed about it is that Catwoman is very this is going to be a verb I make up, or an adjective, or an adverb. It's an adjective. Catwoman is very Catwoman-y in this, and that seems a little weird to say, but I have seen cartoons or live action things that the Catwoman that we got didn't feel like that Selena Kyle, whereas this one totally does. She plays to her strengths, and that's not just something mentally, but also physically, and that's not just fighting, but that's also with a little bit of seduction, and I definitely appreciated that. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of nitty-gritty, but I do need to talk about some bad things as far as this is concerned. First off, this movie is way too short to purchase for a full length. Like, you're looking at 75 minutes essentially of movie. Not enough. Also, even though I mentioned that this has a feeling of like Cowboy Bebop, the way that the fighting is animated feels either stiff, or it just helps the heroes way too much. There are moments where the villains could totally take down Catwoman or Batwoman, and they're too busy being stiff or having clunky dialogue. So I didn't like that. Also, and this has to go with the fighting, they're There's an old saying, who would win in a fight between, this character or this character? It could be like Batman or Superman, or it can be, Wolverine or Lobo. Here's the thing. This movie answers that question in the honest way. Who wins in those fights? Whoever the writer wants to win. There's a fight towards the end where Catwoman is fighting someone, and to be completely honest, she has no business even coming close to winning this fight. But who's on the marquee?
Cat fight.
Remember I said the beginning feels a lot like Cowboy Bebop. The first third I totally dug, but it just feels like it slopes downhill as it goes along. It goes from like the stylized, super sleek, totally feels like a Catwoman kind of scene, to something that's kind of fantastical, which doesn't really fit Catwoman's MO, to something that really feels off. and I'm talking about like the fights. She fights against two characters, and I will mention one. Solomon Grundy's in this movie, and if you're asking yourself, does Catwoman have an honest to goodness chance of beating Solomon Grundy? The answer is no, but it happens, and there's a very Warner Brothers-esque thing that happens with it. I'm not going to give it away. It just wasn't my thing. The last thing that I want to talk about as far as negatives are concerned is the voice acting of Batwoman. When she's in the cape and cowl, I don't have a problem with it. It seems very deadpan, not necessarily flat in a bad way, but you can tell that the Batwoman character is very serious. She has a few dry wit jokes, which is fine, but there's a moment where she takes the mask off and she completely changes her voice, and that took me out, and it didn't fit the tone of the character. I wasn't a big fan of that. Overall, I want to go ahead and give a score here. I did enjoy this movie, but the more I watched, the less I enjoyed. So in order for me to give a score, it almost is like a sliding scale, but not like me grading it on a on a curve, but it's more like the first third is an 80, the next part is like a 65, and the last one's like a 60. So the average right there, we're gonna give it like a 72. It's not worth catching for full price, but if you want to watch this on HBO Max, it's a blast for quite a bit of it, and things make sense toward the beginning. Like I said, things feel very in the vein of Catwoman, but the more that things go along, the less and less it fits her MO. It fits her the cog doesn't quite fit right. I will say, if you're a fan of anime, definitely watch this. If you're a huge Catwoman fan, of course, this is not going to be something that you're going to miss. But if you are just kind of like an okay Catwoman fan, you can wait. It is what it is, but I enjoyed this so much better than Injustice. So that's my review of Catwoman Hunted. And before I give my outro, I just want to say that if you want to catch me a lot more often than these few reviews that I've done, I do have a Twitch channel, and I stream on Twitch about 4 or 5 times a night. I work the overnight shift over there, so if you're up late at night, come by. We play a lot of action adventure games, quite a few comic book video games, and I would love to see you there. I will put the link down in the description below. So if you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe if you're a fan of this sort of thing, and tell your friends. As always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. Finally, we'll see you next time.